All right, thanks, guys. We're coming off a 2-in-1 day yesterday in our premium sports picks on patreon.com/Brock Page. And of course, that's a website that I operate that gives you premium daily sports picks beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. We're also 5-1 straight up in our last 6 Underdog tier package plays as well. And that's good for 83% in that span. And although we don't have an Underdog play going off today, the good news is this. We have another extra daily pick tier package play going off this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But before we go ahead and move on, let's take a look at some Russian Liga Pro table tennis action. And we're going to start with Denis Sionov squaring off against Alexander Petrov in a 6 p.m. Eastern showdown. Petrov is coming fresh off an embarrassing 3-0 loss to Alex Skrebnev. Alex also dropped 2 out of his last 3, including another humiliating shutout loss 3-0, this time to Denis Sionov. Petrov's 2-6 record in his last 8 is good for just 25% in that span. He also lost to the likes of Vlad Nemeshkalo 3-1 during that stretch as well. Now, Denis Sionov on the other side, a little bit different story, as he's been victorious in 5 out of his last 8. More specifically, his most recent victory came by the final of 3-0 against, you guessed it, Alex Petrov. Denis had some pretty good success over Alex in recent meetings, going 3-1 straight up in their last 4. Sionov's 6-3 record in his last 9 is good for a win percentage of .667. He's also garnered himself marquee victories over the likes of Nemeshkalo and Skrebnev during that span. Looks like a pretty good, decent spot for Sionov backers here. Give me Denis Sionov winning that one outright for some moneyline cash. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and purslines out for Saturday's Russian Liga Pro table tennis action. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you're having a good start to your weekend. Now before we go ahead and move on with the program, I just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/Brock Page, where once again, we're coming off a winning 2-1 day in our premium picks on that website yesterday. We're also 5-1 in our last 6 Underdog tier package plays on that site as well. And like I said earlier, although we don't have an Underdog tier package play going off today, we do have another extra daily pick tier package play going off tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's a very good package for us right now. We do daily premium sports picks on that website beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. We'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. We also have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. Currently, we have well over 550 members signed up and active on that page. Now, you might be wondering, why would all those folks sign up to receive Patreon picks? Well, they can get them right here for free on YouTube, and that's certainly a great point, a great concern. But there is a big problem with me handicapping every single game that's on the board, side and total. And the problem is this. If you were to go ahead and bet every single game that is on the board that I put out here on YouTube, side and total, you're almost guaranteeing yourself failure. And I know that sounds crazy, but you just got to hear me out. If you're going to go ahead and bet every single game that's on the slate with your hard-earned money, side and total, it's certainly not a winning formula for success. And as a matter of fact, it's a recipe for disaster. The books are way too smart. They're way too sharp. They have a lot more money than you and I do combined to be able to absorb that kind of action. And most important, the math becomes aggressively against you the more and more games you play like that. So what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you. I break it down and focus in on just 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're high percentage picks, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, my current Patreon record is a whole lot better than it is here on YouTube, handicapping every single game that's on the board, side and total. And the good news is this. If you want to access my current Patreon record, you can actually do that for free right now. You have access to it at this moment. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. That current Patreon record is located right on the homepage. And once again, all you have to do is click the link in the description section below. I'll also include a link in the comment section below as well. And once again, that is patreon.com/BrockPage. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive back into some more free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck we have Bogdan Grebnuk squaring up against Dmitry Kolesnikov in a 6:30 p.m. showdown. Kolesnikov is the plus 105 underdog. Grebnuk's minus 145. And speaking of Grebnuk, he's taking on a Kolesnikov opponent who's coming off a tough 3-1 defeat against Nikita Lyfenko in his last outing. Dmitry's also dropped 2 out of his last 3, with both of those losses coming by the score of 3-1. Dmitry's record of just 3-5 in his last 8 is good for a win percentage of just .375. Kolesnikov lost to the likes of Lyfenko, Yanishev, and Troyanov during that span. Doesn't look like too great of a spot for a struggling Kolesnikov right now. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Bogdan Grebnuk, minus 145, getting the job done on the money line. Next contest, it is going to be Dmitry Merzlinkin squaring off against Vlad Shirokov, 6:30 p.m. start time. Shirokov's coming off a humiliating 3-0 defeat to Abramov in his last contest. Vlad's also lost his last 2 straight, including a 3-1 defeat to Chentsov during that span as well. Vlad's terrible 1-5 record in his last 6 is good for a win percentage of just 166. 2 out of Shirokov's last 5 losses came by way of debilitating shutout. Meanwhile, on the other side, Dmitry Merzlinkin's been victorious in 2 out of his last 3, including a solid 3-0 shutout victory over Kudaberdiev during that span. He's also beat Abramov 3-2 in a hard-fought, gritty battle during that stretch. Dmitry's 5-2 record in his last 7 is good for 71% during that span. He's garnered shutout victories in 3 out of those 5. Looks like a decent spot for Dmitry here. I'm going to lean toward Dmitry Merzlinkin, winning this one straight up in convincing fashion. All right, next and final matchup for the show, it is going to be Vlad Nemeshkalo taking on Yevgeny Ilyukin in a 6:30 p.m. Eastern showtime. Ilyukin's coming off a solid 3-0 shutout victory over Denis Sayanov. He's also been victorious in 3 out of his last 5, including a tough 3-2 victory over Alex Skrebnev as well. 2 out of his last 3 victories came by way of shutout. Ilyukin's been victorious in 5 out of his last 8, good for 63% in that span of matches. Now Vlad on the other side, a little bit different story as he's coming fresh off a tough 3-1 defeat at the hands of Denis Sayanov. Vlad's also dropped 2 out of his last 3 as well. Vlad's 3-4 record in his last 7 is good for just 42%, as he also suffered an embarrassing 3-0 shutout loss to Alex Skrebnev during that span. Doesn't look like too appetizing of a spot here for Nemeshkalo. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Yevgeny Ilyukin, winning this one straight up on the money line. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. And from the Patreon platform, shout-out goes to Shelly Washington, Danny Farrow, Jalen Whitmore, Kenneth Edwards, Brian T., Dennis McLean, Jeff Kabir, and Ravi Verma. Next, shout-outs from the Instagram platform. Got to give a shout-out to Glenn Stomey, DBZ Betting, Fab Cohen, Boss Bingo, JP Endo, Wayne92, Invictus Sport Trading, and Yu Chen. And finally, from YouTube, got to give a shout out to Imran Hassan, Lucas Borgia, Stephen Lewis, Call Z. Also want to give a shout out to Kevin Taylor, Aziz King, Goodnight Munchie, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my man, Liam Harvey. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on Patreon. I said it before, I'll say it again. We'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that if you decide to come aboard. We have a extra daily pick tier package play going off tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you have plenty of time to hop on and take advantage of that particular matchup. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.